and welcome to Wires from the Deep, a Silo series podcast. Today is Saturday, May 20th, 2023, and you're listening to episode 6, Sheriff Jerkface. I'm your host, Crystal, here with my co-host, Kelly.
Hey, everyone.
So today we're going to be breaking down episode 4 of Silo, which was called Truth. Just aired, or it just was released this past weekend. So let's get right into it. We have proof of chickens, Kelly.
I know. My dream job in the silo.
So for anyone who's listening to this episode and hasn't listened to our first episode, we are both dog owners and chicken owners. So that's why we were anxiously wondering whether there's chickens in the silo.
I think there'd have to be. I mean, I feel like eggs are like...
Yeah, they had a cake,
really
right?
staple, yeah.
But then, I don't know, you can make an eggless cake, so that wasn't like definitive proof. But now we have proof because we saw an egg.
Yes.
The burnt egg, which I sympathize with because I burn eggs all the time.
I actually didn't really understand that because I like crack my egg in and like sit there and watch it for like 30 seconds and then like flip it. I don't, there's not enough time.
Well, she is a kid, so.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like you. Like,
oh,
I don't know how
no,
you
yeah.
balance.
No, I actually, my problem is more that the I can't get the thing not to stick to the pan.
Oh
so.
God, yeah, that's the worst.
So the episode opens with a flashback. It takes us back to Jules as a teenager when she's 13, and they're fussing over presumably her little brother, and something's wrong with him. And this goes back to like...
Well, it goes back to that previous episode where we learned that... Is that what you're going to say, that her mother and brother are no longer with us?
Yeah.
And we were contemplating that she drowned them in the bathtub, but now I don't think that's true.
Yeah, definitely. which I was very relieved. I was watching it and I was like, thank God I was wrong, because that would have been horrible.
Yeah. But I didn't. So her brother's like lying down on the table, and it looked like they're giving him oxygen.
Yeah, yeah. Like, so I guess he must have
some kind of something.
Yeah. Although, you know, people had pointed out, it just occurred to me, people had been pointing out that, you know, that poster that you had noticed, I think it was last week, and it was for something called the syndrome. So I don't know, do you think maybe he died of that? Because actually, you know, yesterday or maybe today, somebody pointed out that in John's ledger that she was reading, it mentions 25 cases of the syndrome. So it sounds like it's kind of like an epidemic kind of thing, you know? So maybe it's tied to that. But yeah, so I loved when, you know, they're going around and saying, what's my name? What's her name? Jerkface. I was like, oh my God, that is so little brothery. I mean, my brother is 2 years younger than me, so I totally yeah.
It was really sweet.
That was cute. Yeah. But then like the next thing you know, he's gone. So it's pretty sad.
Well, I'm still hardened after last episode, so.
All right. And so Jules is outside, right? She's remembering what happened. And I think that I had figured out that her dad lives on like level 50, and then someone from the sheriff's department comes and gets her, says there's been an accident, and like she's referring to John's.
Yes.
Which is funny because that's no accident.
No. I guess they just had to say something. That's a long way to go.
Yeah. She still has like half the silo to climb.
I know.
So I don't know if he's just on a different floor, but
how long could they possibly just leave her lying there for her to walk up 50
I don't know. I mean, it seems like, and I mean, that definitely confirms that she's dead, right? Because I mean, last week we were saying, well, she's not dead yet, but yeah, she's definitely dead.
Yeah, dead. Rat poison, I guess, is what he was saying.
Well, I mean, that's what he thinks, but I don't know. Because I had a really hard time understanding him when I was watching the first time without subtext. I watched the episode twice. I watched it once through with my husband, like to get the full experience. And then I watch it the next day at the watch party with the subtitles on so that I can read everything. But oh my God, I don't know if it's just because he was like grieving and he was yelling, but I had a hard time understanding the things he was saying.
Mm-hmm. I just remember that he said it was odorless and tasteless, and so that's why.
Yeah. So, but then it just made me wonder, like, if it's odorless and tasteless and you don't know, I don't know. It just seemed like he was making a pretty big leap, you know?
Do they have like a science, like an FBI or some sort of investigative? I mean, is there no one? They just seem to take it at like face value that it's red. Do you know what I mean? Like, are there like scientists or lab techs or anyone who handles anything in that police department apart from.
I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen any
Yeah,
evidence of
right.
that. It kind of just seems like they're just like enforcers slash investigators, but they don't really have anything at their disposal. Or, I mean, it might
Hmm.
just be we haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I don't know. It might be because it's reserved for like certain departments because we've seen how citizens have more restrictions and because like Walker's radio is banned by the pact, but the sheriffs have radios.
Right.
And then what else? There was another thing that I think it's firearms. Yeah,
No
so
firearms. Yes.
yeah. Because I mean Marnes can just keep a shotgun in his apartment and I don't know, it would just seems and like meanwhile ordinary citizens are fighting over hammers and pipes, right? So
Right.
okay. I found it like what did you think about when like Jules arrives and like they're all arguing over John's or like discussing heatedly and Bernard says that he's going to be mayor, like according to the pack, he's going to be mayor. So
Hmm.
what did you think of that? Cuz it seems like a weird thing, right, for the head of the computer department to automatically become mayor if she dies.
Oh yeah. Head of the IT department becoming that seems completely crazy to me. Surely there's someone better suited
Like
to
you would
be
think
mayor.
somebody from judicial, right?
Right. The head of
And
the IT
then
department.
okay, and so and then they go back to the flashbacks, and then they show Jules like she's getting, I guess, and then her mother and her brother are dead, and they don't say why. Presumably, it's because the boy got sick and he passed away from that, but they don't say what happened to the mom.
I was kind of
And
thinking maybe she killed herself.
yeah, yeah. See, I mean, that's what I was saying
Or
before because the whole comment from Holston about why she might,
suicide being touchy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Also, I
and
want to be the
then.
first to say that her dad's like a huge dick. Jesus. I wrote in my notes, "You pack up their things, shitface," and I think that's all I wrote down from that whole conversation.
It's funny. It's interesting that you had a reaction because to me, like, I guess I expected him to be even colder than that. Because he was like calling her like, I think he called her honey, and like he was like, I'll take you to halfway to
Yeah, but
school.
it felt like forced and weird
Hmm.
to me, at least. Like, and he wasn't like he never touched her or like right. He never.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just a really. But I assumed that there was just something else there, like some
I
kind
I
of
did I
blame or
did.
guilt or.
He did seem like really like not efficient, but like kind of no nonsense. Like can you pack up our family's things and
Or
take them away?
like
It's like
there was just no emotion in it or like the understanding that for like a 13-year-old girl that's
that's like world crushing.
right. He just wasn't parental at all, I think
Which
and
is weird
he
because
needed.
he handles the babies.
Oh my god, he wouldn't be handling my baby.
What's with the doctors in the silo,
Right.
man?
Right. Maybe something is with the doctors in the silo, Crystal. What do I know?
So, what did you think of Sandy? She's the secretary.
I really liked her just because it made Juliet say really funny things. Her responses were always really funny.
We eat
So
children.
yes, exactly. So I like their scenes together. I mean,
I mean, I
she
was
seems like
just
a
like,
nice person. She probably just like really liked Holston. She's grieving. Everyone's grieving. I don't know.
for me, I was like, wow, can you like get fired or just like go home or something? How rude.
Yeah, she was really rude. It's true.
Yeah, but I get what you mean. She was probably just really attached and still upset about Holston. So
Also, I don't know, I'm not really sure people get fired there. It's like you seem to be pretty much in your job for life.
yeah,
It's
I
like in The Giver.
guess. Yeah. But I thought they seem to really I've been waiting for them to like kind of do more with the whole bias against people from the down deep. And so I was glad to see, some of that coming out through Sandy because she's like, I don't know what you people eat down there. Like, she's really like snobby about it. So I was glad to hear that because I've been waiting for like the class divide in the
Yeah,
silos
yeah,
to
yeah.
be more prominent.
Yeah,
So
I haven't seen much. I mean, I know that it's there, but it definitely doesn't feel like that. It feels sort of.
yeah, so I like that scene for that reason.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
in general, did you like the flashbacks?
Yeah, actually, I liked them. I liked them a lot. There are a lot of flashbacks in this show. and I don't like flashbacks generally because I think I get disoriented. But these, I like these all right. What about you?
Yeah,
I've been enjoying them.
I liked the girl who played Jules,
Hmm.
and then I thought it was it's funny because there was so much knitwear in this episode. And okay, so I figured out like back in like the previous episodes, I was like, why do, because I would go back and I would go like look at a conversation and I would read it and I was like, I don't remember watching this. I don't remember hearing these lines. And so I finally figured out why.
Oh, are you knitting and crocheting and stuff while you play?
No, no, it's because the people in the scenes were wearing knitwear. So I think I just
Oh,
saw that and my brain
oh my
started
gosh,
thinking,
Crystal.
"Oh, I got
You're like making a
distracted."
pattern in your
And then
head.
I think I just probably like stopped listening for a little bit while they were saying important things.
Good thing you
Uh,
watched it twice.
yes, exactly. Okay, so we get introduced. So you don't know who he is, but we get introduced to a character who's gonna probably come back again. His name is Lucas. He was the guy who was in the cafeteria by himself.
Yeah, yeah, the one that talked to Juliet for a bit, and
Yeah, I thought it was
she
funny because
she
he
reminded me.
was
Go ahead, sorry.
no, 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 go.
I was just saying that she reminded me so much of myself in that scene because when I'm awkward, and I'm not saying this is why she was like this, but when I'm awkward and meeting new people, I always walk away so awkwardly when they're trying to say goodbye to me. So I felt a little scene in that scene. So
Well, I mean, for me, I identify with because she was just like it was like he knew more about her job and like the laws and stuff than she did. And she's like, I don't know.
I liked that a lot, and because there was almost an unwritten like or unheard like, and I don't really care either, you know. So like she
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just here to figure out why my boyfriend's dead.
exactly. But then she said like your minute is up. Yeah, I don't think it even occurred to her that she had to like kick people out of the cafeteria if they were in there.
Yeah. I mean, why would you though? I mean,
Yeah, it's
if
a
you're,
dumb
I
rule.
mean, down deep, I doubt they're like, get out of the cafeteria, it's
Because
closed.
because also like when they turned out the power and had to go to generators or whatever, that place always seemed like it was kind of a place that was like alive 24 hours, you know, with those three
Yeah,
parts.
yeah,
And so like having a cafeteria that maybe it's just like different floors are or something.
yeah. I can see like mechanics needing to work around the clock, whereas up top they have like more like go home, come back in the
Yeah,
morning
like
kind
a
of
nine to
thing.
five shift.
9 to 5, yeah. So she's living in Holston's apartment, which is what we were speculating was going to be the point of him doing all
Right,
those
right, right.
weird things at the opening of the show, right? But we still don't know what this double the flowers thing is.
I mean, it must. The only thing I can think of is it has some like with a mirror. It has something to do with like the hologram and the like that. If you do this, you'll see something. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll see. I don't know.
So the only thing that I could think of that maybe it's weight based, because maybe if she doubles the flowers, the vase will be heavier. I don't know. I'm just spitballing because yeah, I haven't
Well,
figured it
also,
out.
what vase, what mirror, what flowers? Like I don't know. Is it code for something? We're
No,
gonna
no,
feel really
because
stupid if it's a code.
he places a ginormous vase of flowers in front of the mirror in his apartment.
What?
So yeah,
I'm an idiot.
it's full of
I don't
calla
remember
lilies
that.
and Gerber daisies, and I don't know. It's just it's big.
But
I
the
don't know what
flowers wouldn't still be there, right?
I mean, they took all of Holston's things out of the
And
apartment,
he would
and
have known that that was going to happen.
yeah, so I don't know why. Maybe they just left it because maybe it's decorative, so maybe it's
Okay,
not
wait,
like
wait.
a
So
belonging.
is there currently in this apartment a vase of flowers and a mirror?
Yeah, yeah. It's the same vase that that Holston put in place. So he
Okay.
left it in front of the mirror, and the people who cleaned out the apartment left it there, and she has it now. I saw it when she was in there. It's in the apartment.
Huh. All right. All right. Still have
Yeah.
no idea what it means, but
Yeah. Yeah. So they hint during her swearing in when Bernard comes to her apartment to give her her uniform and swear her in that he can hear like that clacking noise in the air vent. So I didn't understand what he said to her. He told her to call maintenance and she said, "Oh, she'll fix it." And he told her something about, "Okay, or you're going to fit."
you're gonna piss off Mick or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just like, how would they even know that she fixed it herself and why? I don't know. Like, what kind of maintenance people are? Is that is that how maintenance people are? If you fix something yourself, they get really mad.
Yeah,
Uh,
I I don't know what he meant by that. When you like talk about when you mention it, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would
right?
mechanic care? Like, surely
Yeah,
people fix stuff all the time.
yeah.
And
And like,
how
how
would
would they
he even
even
know about it?
know? Yeah, exactly. Is he gonna go tell maintenance, "Hey, there's a clacking in her grate, and she's fixing it herself as we speak."
Right?
It's just a strange line. It was weird. But then so they swear her in, and then after that, I think she looks really good in her sheriff's uniform.
Oh yeah, she does. She looks
Yeah.
good. Right? She gets sworn in. She goes in the safe.
Yeah, she goes into holding three, and then she's like looking around, and like I saw someone posting online saying, "Why does she look so scared?" She's like, "Hello, that's the road to the outside. Of course she's scared of it."
Yeah, the door on the other side of the holding, right? Like
Yeah,
it's the
that's
one
like
that
where the
opens and
that's where the
yeah,
airlock is. She's like looking down there, and that's like where people make their final walk to their death. So
yeah.
yeah, I totally see why she's like looking at it apprehensively.
She
Who
also was
wouldn't, right?
looking out the window. Everyone seems to look out the window in this worried manner, and it's like it doesn't change. It's the same window everywhere. You would get totally
Yeah,
used to it.
yeah.
I always think they're seeing something, and I'm always like kind of like focusing to try to make sure I don't miss it.
Although maybe for her, she's never been that close to the surface, I guess.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because she like grew up in the mids and then she went down deep, so she's always been pretty far down below. So that's like her first look of like actual, like not just like a screen, but like actually, it's like actually, maybe is the view outside that cell a window instead of a screen?
Well, don't they all show like those bodies like all the time?
Yeah, actually, so if it's, yeah, I don't know.
And they only clean when they go out to clean. There's just one window to clean. It's just the view. I think it's just
Well, it's a camera that they clean,
right.
so
And so, but that's where the view is coming from.
yeah,
I guess.
yeah, I don't know. Because like the one in the holding cell is really small, so I was wondering if that's actually a window,
Hmm.
not a projection screen. Because the projection screen is huge, right? But like this one in the cell,
But I think don't do people have little windows like that like in their houses and stuff? Have you seen one?
I think like there's I did notice that there's a window in Jules' office behind her with blinds and everything, but I think it's just decorative. I don't know what she looks out
That's
on,
really
but I mean,
sad.
I know, right? I couldn't tell if it was like a hallway or something. It might have been a hallway,
Mm.
or I don't know if it's just like
Oh
there's
yeah, it could
lighting
have
back
been.
there
Yeah.
to make you think that it's a window to outside. Yeah. Can't see because it's so dark.
I
Yeah, I don't know.
watched.
I think actually I think the view from the cell in Holding Three, I think that's a window. And maybe
It doesn't
that's
show
why
that
like
same scene with the two
no,
bodies.
you can see the tree and everything, but I don't know. Actually, no, that doesn't really make sense because they go up that big ramp to get to the surface. So yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why does it look like a window? It looks like a window instead of a
I
screen.
guess they're all
Anyways,
made to look like
just
windows when they're.
just rambling. Okay. So Juliet begins like so she Jules like is starting her job and immediately what she starts doing is looking for the hard drive and I thought it was a little I don't know rash of her because like when Holston had the hard drive, he was like this is a red level red like I'm going to destroy it. But then
She was
she just
flying
goes
fast
around
away.
I know
Like,
she's just going around asking, "Hey Marnes, have you seen a hard drive? Hey, random lady at recycling, have you seen a hard
yeah,
drive?"
I know, I know.
Like she just has no. I mean, maybe it's just her inexperience, but it just feels like that she should be a little more careful or subtle about it because she's just going around just like, "Hey, I'm looking for a hard drive. I know they're banned and everything, but I'm the sheriff now." So
And when she asks, it's not like anybody's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have that" or whatever. They are like, "Oh, I haven't seen that."
yeah, yeah, you would think people are like hard drive. Why are you asking me about a hard drive? No, I don't want to talk to you. you know? Okay, and so they go back to a flashback, and this is the part where Jules is cracking the egg, just like yay egg. But then she, I guess, leaves it to go fix the chair, which I can totally get because I get distracted by projects all the time like
Mhm.
that. I'll be like, "Oh, I could do that," and then you just forget something. But He comes home and he just grabs a cast iron pan. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Complete idiot. And then it makes him all mad. He takes it out on his 13-year-old daughter. He's like abandoned.
Yeah,
That was kind of bad.
yeah. But yeah, I was like, why would you just grab that?
And I feel like people do that in movies. It's so stupid. Like no one does that. No one like runs in and just it's a burning egg. There's no
Well,
fire. Why would
I,
you
I
danger?
I I mentioned that in Discord, and somebody's like, "Oh, actually, my dad does that too." And I was like, "What?"
Sorry, guys, Dad.
I said, "Well, I think it's because I'm just scared of cast iron. I am so scared of
Oh,
grabbing it when and like burning my hand
you
because
can
it's just
get these little silicone slips that go over the handle.
yeah." But I lose those kinds of things, so yeah. I just always like make sure that I have like some kind of like pot holder or thing like that. I just oh god, I just didn't like seeing him just grabbing it. I was like, dude, you dumbass.
Yep, he deserved it. No pity for that guy. I need to go back and watch it because I can't remember what kind of dad he was. Like in the first memory with Jacob, was he like an emotionless asshole then too, or
I don't know. I mean, he seemed kind of okay to me. I
mm-hmm.
mean, he said the right things and seemed kind of sad, but I mean, he also like so I feel like when he told her you can't fix everything. I don't know. I didn't really get the connection between, her being fixated on fixing things because Martha in the present calls Jules the fixer.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess that's her nickname for her is
Mm-hmm.
fixer. But I mean, I don't know. I thought they could have because I okay. So this is from the book. I went back and I read the part about her family, and I guess in the book she blamed the machine for not saving her brother, being able to. I don't know if it wasn't
That at
working
least,
properly,
yeah, okay,
but I thought that would have tied in better to her having a desire to always fix things, and then her dad, just before she leaves, he tells her through the door, "You can't fix everything,"
yeah. And
you know.
what I was thinking was, she's obviously not trying to fix anything. She's not trying to bring anyone back, but she needs like a father figure in her life to like take care of her, which she like isn't doing.
Yeah, and he's like always working, right?
Yeah,
So
sad.
yeah, so
It's probably
I
one of
mean,
those
she
things that was in the book but got cut from the movie or just didn't, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
no one. It's not an important enough thing to like.
Yeah, but I mean, she essentially just runs away from home, right? And she goes down to the bottom of the silo. But I mean, it made me wonder, like, what made her choose to go down there? Like why mechanical? Because I mean, it sounds like it's really far away. So
Maybe she was just going as far as she could get.
yeah, I guess. I loved seeing young Shirley.
Oh, me too. I really like her
She
character.
was cast really well for
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, they've
like
been
really
friends for
well.
a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've been friends since she first got there. So yeah, they were cute together.
yeah, they were. It was great. But I one thing I thought was that I didn't really see that she was so miserable that she felt like she like if you just lose your mom and your brother and the only family member you have left is like your dad. Like I would need to see like a lot more
Yeah.
like misery or just
Yeah.
unhappiness. Like she didn't. I mean, she
Yeah.
was. I think that's like the fate of so many kids today. Is
Yeah.
exactly how she is in
I
this
I
position.
felt that too. I felt like they kind of wasted the time that they spent sending her to that recycling place and talking to that guy. Like I felt like they could have shown a little more of like the pain that she was going through, because I mean the girl, young Juliet herself, doesn't really. I don't know. She doesn't really show just how much it's affecting her.
Hmm.
Like, it just seems very internal, which is fitting with Juliet. But yeah, you're right. At the same time, it doesn't really. They didn't. I don't feel like they showed why she felt she had to run away from home,
Right.
basically. So
Basically, yes. That's what I was trying to say as well.
yeah,
But
because
she
I don't
did.
know. Because yeah, I mean, admittedly, like the things that he does, which is just making her take their stuff away and yelling at her for burning an egg. I would have yelled at my kid for burning an egg, just for the record. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like they could have made it a little worse for her to show why she
Yeah.
went through such an extreme. So, but then like he doesn't put up any fight basically, right? When he sees her down in mechanical in
No,
Martha's
none.
workshop, he's just
It
like, "Are
didn't
you
even seem
happy?"
like the walk.
I know.
He could have just sent a note.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's his only question. Are you happy? And
And
like,
he repeated it too, like it was some, like it meant something. But
I mean, she doesn't look happy, right? All she says is that she's happy that she doesn't have time to think about her family. And I mean,
I
I
was even
you
thinking like if she, what I thought she was going to say is after all that saying like happier than I was at home or happier than I
yeah,
ever was with you. Like
yeah,
that would at least, like we wouldn't have been shown that, but
yeah. Because I
no.
mean, when your kid says something like that to you, you would think your reaction would be, "Oh, you need my help even more then, because this is all that you're thinking about, and you need help being distracted." But I mean, instead, he just was like, "Yeah, okay, you can stay here." All right, so we cut back to sheriff's office, and Sandy's being a bitch again.
Yay.
I mean, she's like so snarky, right?
Yeah.
Like, about the funeral. Like, have you ever planned the funeral before? I was like, oh my god, I just want to
I
slap
never
her.
sign things without reading them. That's dumb. I no. They could have said
Like,
anything.
I know you said she's grieving and everything, but I was just like, damn, lady. It's just, I mean, Jules says it herself. I'm your boss. It's like,
Right.
yeah. Why don't you?
At least after she said, I'm your boss, she sort of realized, oh yes, you are my boss, and kind of shut up for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Then like that radio call comes in, and she has to go stop Marnes from beating some dude up. And like,
He is like
he's off the
he
rails.
is off the rails.
Yeah, so this Marnes is very different from the book Marnes. Book Marnes was more like very dutiful and quiet and
Right.
stoic and everything. So yeah, this is a new turn on the character for book readers, but I can see merit for both because I mean he's just lost his like good friend Holston, and then he like
Yeah. What a shit ton of that.
finds out the mayor has feelings for him, and then she's
And
murdered.
she's gonna move next to him in a little shop in the merchant place. I'm gonna have little back to back stores together.
But yeah, so they're sitting in the cafeteria, and like, and then all of a sudden, like, I guess he kind of realizes that they're in the same boat. Him and
Mm-hmm.
Jules both want to find the murderer of their loved one, right? So, but there was a line that Jules said that really confused me. She said, "I'll make you something like I'll make you a deal. If you help me find George's murderer, I'll help you find out who killed the mayor." I was just like, isn't that like literally your job already?
Maybe she
Like,
knows that, so she's not giving us anything.
like he's been giving her so much shit about like knowing more about the job, and yet well, why I didn't understand why he didn't call her on that. Like
Well,
you would
maybe
think that her priority number one is to find out who killed the mayor.
maybe he was just excited to realize that she does know what her job is.
I guess, but yeah, I did not like that line. I was just like, why are you saying that to him? That doesn't make any sense.
I was shocked
Uh,
that she showed him what was on the back of that badge and like told him everything. Like they basically just they've spent how much time together?
yeah, and then she even told him like that the brutal thing that she said to Holston, like he was pissed
I
about
don't
that.
know.
Because I mean, it just kind of, I guess it must make him think, oh, are you the reason he went
Right?
outside?
Yeah. And she
Yeah,
hasn't really seemed like a sharer before this, so I don't know if like
yeah.
she knew that she was just gonna have to work with him and get him to like help her, or
Well, I mean, from her conversation with Walker, which a lot of people are criticizing because it's very, not very smart to go talking on an open radio line about what you're doing. But she tells Martha that she has an ally, right? So I think that's probably why
see, I
she
thought that about
was.
the radio too, but it didn't. It seemed like it was all in code, just sort of a very
Well,
vague description.
but I mean, it reveals to anyone listening that Martha does in fact have a radio.
I know. I kind of get the feeling that everyone knows that. Like everyone knows
Yeah,
there's some old lady in the basement that has a radio or
I
something.
guess
Because otherwise, I mean,
she's
she listens to
excused.
every single thing that everyone says on the radio. If they
Yeah.
had a problem with that, I feel like they would have done something.
So this is skipping ahead to the end of the episode, but I thought it was funny because last week we were talking about how Martha probably has a cord of boxes in her workshop, and she's gonna plug one in and she's gonna make that camcorder turn on. And
we
sure enough, but I mean, it looks like she made one, but at the same time, she did
we did it. She did it.
it.
It's on. It was didn't get to see anything, but at least
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I mean, what does the orange light mean? Does that mean she powered it on, or she's charging it,
I think
or?
orange means charging.
Hmm.
That's on my camcorder.
Okay, so I saw some people asking about this online, all the different people that Marnes pisses off during the day, and they're all different people. So there's the guy that he was punching when Jules had to go stop him, and then there's the guy who I guess the guy he's Patrick Kennedy. He says he poisoned 2 floors of people with his bad booze, and then there's his attackers. I'm pretty sure there's 3 different people. So
Wait,
there's
did you mention the husband of the guy who actually punches him?
yeah, that's the guy Patrick Kennedy.
Oh, okay, thank
The
you.
guy who poisoned people with booze, I
Got it.
guess.
Yeah, okay.
Although I don't remember what his is that the booze guy? Or is that the relic guy? I think the relic guy is he accused that guy of like selling relics or something. I think that's the same guy though.
Mm.
Oh, but he punched him really hard. He
He
like
punched him
cracked.
really hard.
I mean, you look at his injury.
But that
But
line was so funny while I wrote it down. We knew she was headed to the farm the minute I met you. What exactly did he mean by that? The farm? Is that like
oh,
the funny
so,
farm?
so this is no this is like a minor spoiler, but when people die of natural causes, like not going out to clean, when people die in the silo, they get taken to be put into the farms as fertilizer. So
Oh,
yeah.
I
So he
liked
was
it. I wrote it
basic
down.
yeah.
Oh my god, calling someone headed to the farm is hilarious.
What?
When calling someone or saying that someone's headed to the farm is really funny.
It's a pretty bad insult. Yeah, so when Jules is talking to Marnes in his apartment, she sees the
The
drawing that he
drawing,
made
and I
of
so love
John's on
that
the
drawing.
wall, right? So she knows that yeah, something
Yeah, she
was.
put it all together pretty quickly.
It's good that they show that she's like noticing things and she's putting things
Yeah,
together in her
yeah,
head because
they're
it's
definitely
so
doing that.
yeah, it's because I mean he was
She's a good actress. Like you can see those things on her face very well.
yeah, and then so he was heavily opposed to her being sheriff, right? I mean, when he first saw her in John's office, but yeah, like so when she's, I guess when they're throughout the day, he like not warms up to her because he still wants her to feel on her own, right? When he's talking to that guy Sims, but he's not ready to just like outright kick her
Wait,
out because
do you think he meant that when he was talking to Sims? Because like the way he turned away and like he like paused and kind of turned away, it was almost like he wanted her to stay, but he couldn't let that guy know that.
yeah, yeah, that's the impression I got too, and that was just like
Okay.
his excuse,
Yeah.
right? Of just like not his way of avoiding sign because it sounded like they had everything in place,
Right.
right,
Right.
to replace her, like kick her out. So it kind of sounded like that was his way of getting out of signing it without getting in trouble himself. So because yeah, he must be because he was aware of the pressure right beforehand because he was there with Bernard when like he was trying to pressure her
Mhm.
to make Billings sheriff and everything, and so he knows that they're still pushing hard for that. So
Well, good. I'm glad you got that impression too.
yeah. Plus, I mean, you have to consider that she was John's choice and that was like her last order, right? So
Hmm.
he probably has like motivation to like
Right.
want to
Right. Right.
keep her wishes and enforce them. And maybe like over the course of the day he realized that, she's not as bad as he thought. So because yeah, even when they were down in engineering, he didn't seem to like her. So and like I think Johns had said when they were talking to Bernard that he was opposed to it already. So yeah,
Yeah.
he don't like her. Yeah, so what did you think of the de-aging in this episode? Because I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was so good. It
Like
was
with
really good.
Martha, yeah,
Yeah.
Martha and Julia's dad. Yeah, I thought that was really well done. So my husband remarked that Dr. Nichols looked like Conan
Oh my god, I can see that.
because he has the
With the
red hair
yeah, the
and the
hair.
squinty eyes.
Also, I wanted to say that scene with her in his apartment, and she realizes that he was in love with John's, and that she's getting ready to go, and she asks if he has like protection for the evening, and
Yeah,
he says that he has a shotgun, and I really liked her comment, that there are sometimes things, or there are sometimes a shotgun isn't the solution for there are some
yeah,
things, and she
yeah,
was obviously like implying that he was going to kill himself,
yeah.
and
And then they do like that fake out.
I know, and that's what I was about to say with that. I thought he was like, I don't know. I was like, that is the most complicated looking hanging system. I don't know what you're doing, sir, but like, Props
Yeah,
to
I
you.
mean,
You are doing it thoroughly.
he was rolling up his mattress. I was like, what is he doing? Is he packing up? I was confused. And then like they show like the hanging things, like the two metal, like
Yeah, yeah.
what are
It
those
was
called?
so creepy.
Yeah,
But
I was like, "Oh no, here we
I thought,
go."
I mean, for a second, I
Guest
thought he was
starring
gonna,
Will Patton.
I thought he was gonna make some crazy thing where it drops and then it fires the gun, like some weight driven. I was like,
Oh,
God, what is happening?
yeah, yeah, and then it turns
But
out
no,
he's just buffing up.
he's letting his emotions out, so he stops hitting people.
Yes, yes, healthy. This is healthy grieving.
Actually, this is the first healthy thing I've seen that man do. So
Yeah, for real. Okay, so speaking of that, there is a pretty healthy supply of alcohol to people in this silo.
I would so whenever they're at the top levels, the rich people, and they offer alcohol, I always thought that alcohol was like precious and rare, and like you only served it, in
Yeah,
greatest of circuit. But no, it just I guess they make their own beer. That's what I guess there must be a
yeah,
whole
I mean, they
floor to
must.
brew.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they have beer bottles, which I guess they must recycle over and over.
Yeah,
But yeah, and like I guess what Jules got drink on was probably homemade. But yeah, like there's people drinking all over the place. I would think that if like they're gonna ban technology and they're gonna control birth and they're gonna
yeah,
control everything about people, they would really like regulate alcohol.
yeah. Because
But
there's gonna be so much abuse. You're like, it's like the end of times. You're stuck in a corn cob, and like there's nothing to do, nowhere to go.
yeah.
Like you would drink, of course you would.
But I don't know. Actually, have the only people we've seen drinking been authority figures? Maybe that's the difference.
Maybe it's
Because you know how I
that
was
makes
saying how
sense.
like
But
authority figures seem to have a whole lot more than regular citizens. So
I like when he was like dangling the bottle over the edge in
I
the
know, yeah,
last time.
because he just read the sign, right? Like, don't drop anything.
Yeah, yeah. You're not allowed to hold anything over the rail.
Yeah, I like the look on his face, like,
I know.
but that was another fake out because he was
Yeah,
standing there and looked like really upset, and he was remembering her, and I thought, oh my god, somebody's gonna come up behind him and push him right over, and it's gonna be like my fear because I mean, all this time I've been talking about how, oh my god, it's so scary that it looks like you can fall from the top to the bottom.
yeah. I thought he was gonna drop the bottle and like kill someone on the.
Oh god, that
Just
would
like,
be unbearable.
well, it's like they put up all that stuff at the top of the Empire State Building, so you can't like drop pennies anymore because
Oh
like
god.
I think someone died from getting hit by something
Ew.
that like fell from.
Oh, that's awful.
I know, and it's just imagine it's worse luck.
See, in that case, the staircase should have like a ledge so that people can't
Right?
easily drop things
Or like
over.
a net,
Yeah,
a net doesn't
yeah,
block light.
yeah, yeah.
Because imagine the jumpers. There's always going to be a jumper.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought there's so many like fake outs. I kept thinking, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Because yeah, like I like the last episode, as soon as like John's is dying, it's like the next thing you see is guest starring Will Patton. It happened in this episode too, guest starring
Yeah,
Will Patton. So his days are limited. Okay, so I think we talked a little bit about this, but Sims comes and visits Marnes, and he's like telling him everything is ready to go. We can fire her and send her back down to mechanical. And I think he says that all the paperwork is signed, and he's
he
just
did.
the
Yeah.
last person. He's the last person to do it. So yeah, lots of power playing going on. He says, "I have good news. Judge Meadows is ready to make a new sheriff." That was funny because he calls Bernard Mayor Pencil Neck. I didn't hear that the first time I saw it in the subtitles. I
Well,
thought that was
imagine the
funny.
mayor. Like everyone must think that's a joke that the head of IT gets to be the mayor.
Yeah, computer geek. Oh, I didn't know that Jules sees Lucas twice. Cause the time that she talks to Lucas,
There was one other
she
time where she just sees him staring at the
yeah, I didn't
screen.
realize
Yeah,
that she saw him twice. Yeah. So yeah, she talks
yeah.
to
She
him
just
the
stares
second
at him for
time.
a while.
Yeah, 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 because somebody calls her. I think it's Sandy. Huh. Yeah, so I guess they showed him. He must be drawing, so he looks like he has, or maybe he's writing. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't. I thought he was just. I thought he was just looking out. I can imagine there's just a lot of like pensive staring at that stupid window, like into a fire.
Okay, so back like near the end of the episode, they show Jules finding figuring out the grate. and like she opens the grate and she finds that washer, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
that's clacking against the thing. And then I thought it was a little heavy-handed, for them to flash back to the string where she
Right.
pulled up the
We could have
file.
figured that out.
Yeah, I was like, we just saw this last week. We're not that dumb."
I know.
But
I think so too.
yeah, so I know we had thought that the hard drive was going to be in there, but it turned out to be the file. So I was just wondering, like, why he had to hide the file. Like, why did judicial,
Yeah.
like, I guess maybe he thought judicial might have destroyed it, because I think with Sims's conversation with Marnes, they hinted that, because he says, "Oh, I went to go see Patrick Kennedy, and his wife was already dead, and that wasn't in the file you gave me." And he said, "You want to lose anything, just give it to data management." So I guess they were just laying the groundwork, saying that things go missing. So maybe that's why, like, maybe Jules thought that that's what happened to George's file, but it turns out Holston had just protected it and left it for her. So
I thought it was weird that they didn't seem to care that a file was missing.
yeah. Yeah,
But
you would
as
think
to
that
like
they would start
why,
looking
I
for it.
think I just watched the episode a few hours ago, and my first impression was that she seemed way too shocked at seeing that photo for it just being a photo. Like I know that photos are or cameras are banned, but like when would they have taken that picture?
Yeah,
And
see,
like
that's what I was wondering too, because so we had talked about how there doesn't seem to be any photos, but then at the same time we've seen that file and that photo before in the first episode when Marnes gives that folder to Holston. So they're no strangers to photographs
right.
because his picture is in there. So I don't know. I mean, do
Is
is
it
that another thing where only like authority figures know that
that's what I
there's
was about to
camera
say.
technology?
But then
Yeah.
when would they have taken the picture? Does everyone get
Yeah.
their picture taken?
I don't know. And like, I guess, would George have known what was being done to him with his picture being taken, or does
Right.
he? Because I mean,
That's
if
what I mean.
someone's
Like if they're doing it secretly and telling them it's something else.
like, if yeah, if they're just saying, "Look here," and all he hears, maybe not even having a click.
Right.
Maybe someone just takes his picture and he doesn't even realize they've taken his picture, right?
Hmm.
Because yeah, if he's not familiar, but then he used to work for IT, so I don't know. Maybe he knows certain technologies that they have that they don't show to other people. So
Anyway, that was my first impression was that there's something about the photo or that the photo exists that she was shocked by.
I mean,
Because
another thing too is that, she hasn't seen his face in a year,
yeah,
right?
and I was kind of looking for that, like expecting like grief or love or something to kind of but I didn't get that. I don't think that's what she was thinking.
Yeah,
It's not what I saw.
she just looks surprised, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I thought it had to do with, maybe, like, I thought maybe she's just never seen a photo before. So
Hmm. I think that's a good theory. As much as anything.
yeah. So, but before that though, Marnes gets attacked in his apartment. So I was actually surprised that they show the attacker's face, but I am like pretty sure that we've never seen that guy before.
I am hoping because I did not recognize him at all. I was going to ask you specifically.
No, yeah, I don't. I thought he looked like Timothy Hutton, like a young Timothy Hutton.
We could see that.
But yeah, so I don't know. How do you? I mean, like, what? I thought he was gonna, make it look like Marnes did something to himself, but then I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
He's just full on attacking him, and I
Yeah.
don't know. He's got the shotgun on him, so and it looked like he had the shotgun like somewhere else in advance. Like Marnes went to go
He
look
had
for it,
hid
and
it.
it
He had
wasn't.
hid it earlier when someone knocked on his door.
Yeah,
He
when
like
Sims
picked
knocked
it
on
up
his door,
and
he went and put it away, but it wasn't there, so the guy had already found it. So
but I thought he had not put it away, but just sort of set it in the other room,
oh,
like around the
yeah,
corner,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I
yeah. I
didn't
don't
recognize
know.
that guy at all. Is it maybe like the same person that poisoned John's? Like if he thinks that they were trying to get him, or do we think it's like one of those people he
I
pissed
don't know.
off?
I mean, it's a little weird because, like I said, I don't think we've seen him before.
Yeah.
So okay, so overall, what was your impression of the episode? Because I've been noticing, and this is probably just because I look on Reddit a lot, and people tend to trend negative on Reddit in general. But like, what were your thoughts overall? Like where the show is at this point?
I mean, I guess I would say I was like more excited in like the first couple of episodes, and this, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, definitely feels like a middle episode, but that's what it is. So I'm just kind of trucking along with it. I'm really enjoying it, and I haven't. This one wasn't boring. I didn't ever. It went by pretty quickly, and
Yeah, I because for me as a book reader, I ate it all up because these are all things that like
yeah,
I know is set up. So it was fine for me, but at the same time I can see like why people who don't know anything about the story
sure,
would also be like I think it's fair criticism like for the people who are saying, like they feel like it's really slowing down from the first two episodes, and they don't understand why they're going off on these side tangents and stuff and doing character background. And
hmm
I've seen a lot of people say that like Jules is unlikable, but it's funny because for me it's like I really like her because
well, I like her a lot.
yeah, but
I mean, yeah,
um
it seems like set up, and that's something I think every show struggles with is like getting that momentum to
yeah, but
carry on
see, so
throughout. So
I feel like it's fair criticism to say that like they set up this big mystery about the outside, right? Like
yeah,
what
that's
is
fair
real,
criticism.
what is
I thought that's
real,
what
what
the
is
show
not
was
real.
about.
Yeah, so
That's
I
what,
mean,
yeah,
when they debuted those first two episodes, it was heavily focused on that, and then these last two episodes just kind of almost ignored it,
yeah. But I guess I
Um,
also like see that the whole outside is like the big mystery about like why these people chose to go outside, and it all seems connected as to like why these people are getting
yeah,
killed,
yeah.
and you
See,
know,
because that's like my thinking too, is because the outside is the big mystery, but the people inside are like the central thing because those are your characters. Those are the people that you're following, right? They're the people who are in the
right?
silo,
Yeah,
right?
you
So I
can't
mean,
find out what's outside in the first game episode. You
yeah,
just have to get there. The
yeah.
whole the characters is that's how you tell a story. That's how you get there. Otherwise it's just
But
telling us what happened.
I will say that I hope next week they do go back to the big overarching question of the mystery of the outside, because that seems to be a huge draw for a bunch of
Yeah,
people.
for me, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, and so one of the and you've read the short stories, so I'm not
The
spoiling here,
short,
but
yeah.
we're not going to say the actual spoiler because they haven't revealed it on the show. But I saw someone point out that by this point, when in the book, when we're like going through the silo with Johns and Marnes, and we're getting to know all the characters of the the people who read the book already knew the answer to the outside question. So I guess that's what this person who was, I think I read it on Reddit. They were saying that that's why people are getting so frustrated is
hmm
because they don't know the answer to the outside, which is what is real and what's not. So I guess that's one big difference. So it remains to be seen whether that was the right decision, because yeah,
Yeah.
in the book people already knew, but show people do not. I've seen so many posts of people who are just so frustrated, like, I need to know, just tell me, or like, they can't stand the wait, so they go and read the book, which is awesome.
I have
It's
really been tempted to read the book, but I've gotten this far, so
yeah,
I'm definitely going to read the book after the first season.
yeah,
So
yeah. The books are really good.
sorry if that messes us up, but I have to.
So a lot of people have been posting, because I'm one of the subreddit mods, and we see a lot of people posting, why doesn't the silo have an elevator? Why do they make them walk the whole thing? And so like people keep answering, just keep watching and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about, can you imagine what an actual elevator in the silo and how it would function? Like
It
if it was just one,
there's no way. There's
don't you
no
think
way.
it would
It'd
be a
be
nightmare?
chaos. Chaos. It would always
It,
go full. It would always be broken. You could like never get on.
yeah, and like what if you had to go all the way to the bottom and you have to
It's like
put up with
they would
all
be
those people?
stopping at every single floor.
I just
I
feel
think
like
they don't want people going up and down.
huh?
I feel like they don't want people going up and down. Like they have to make it like
Yeah, I just
trip.
feel like there would be entire rebellions over elevator usage.
Yeah. No, you do not
Like
want to enter.
yeah, I don't know. I just get every time someone posted, "Why is there no elevator?" I'm just like, if there's only one elevator, everybody would be going absolutely bonkers over it.
Oh my god.
People are ridiculous. I mean, I get mad just waiting for the elevator when I'm leaving a doctor's appointment.
It would be like those trains that you see in countries where there's like 6,000 people trying to squeeze in the door and the
Oh
train's full
god.
already.
Oh god. Yeah, no thanks.
People would be like falling out.
I would be the type of, you know what, screw this, and I would just start
Oh
walking.
yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like, eventually it'd be like, everybody can just walk. I was so sick of like regulating all these elevator arguments.
I would just do like I do now and not go anywhere.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, stay
I
home,
would
everyone.
just. All right, any last thoughts? I think that about wraps up our discussion of the episode.
Just checking my notes here.
How about some predictions? Are they going to show us next week what's on the camcorder, or is it going to be drawn out a couple more episodes?
Maybe a couple more. I mean, did they shoot him at the end or what? That's what I
I
want
don't,
to know.
I don't think he did, but I don't know. Like, if he did shoot him, how would that get explained? I mean, I would
I
think
got
that
really
would.
I got really nervous because right before I watched the episode on like Google News or something, there was a headline that said why Silo isn't afraid to kill off its characters and why that's a good thing. And so I immediately just thought like someone was going to die in this episode. And
Mm,
it had gotten so far that I was like, well, he's gonna die. There's no time left for anyone else,
I
So
I was surprised he didn't die too, because I thought, oh, they've killed someone in every episode so
yeah.
far. And plus, like I said, the first thing you see on the screen at the end of the episode is guest starring Will Patton, and that's Marnes. So it just feels like they're like, hey, prepare yourselves.
No.
Okay, so this week's question for our audience: do you think that Martins is going to live through the next episode?
I'm not so sure.
Yeah. So I think that about wraps it up. Yeah.
I think so.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Wires from the Deep. Be sure to follow or subscribe to us and tell other Silo fans that they can find us at wiresfromthedeep.com. Be sure to join the Down Deep Discord by going to thedowndeep.net and following the invite link to join discussions with other fans and join our Friday night watch party of Silo. If you want to contact me or Kelly, you can leave a comment on Podbean or YouTube, or you can email us at crystal@thedowndeep.net. Tune in next week as we break down episode 5, The Janitor's Boy. Thanks for listening.
Bye everyone.
Bye.